study,
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
The best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
How old is she?
22 months.
Okay, that's the youngest litigant I've had in my courtroom. Okay, the 22-month-old, let the record reflect that she's sucking on a milk bottle right now.
This is the plaintiff, Shirley Wells. She says she owns a small dog, which looks exactly like the dog from the movie The Wiz. One day, the defendant, with her big brown dog in tow, made a beeline for her little dog and attacked him with a vengeance. Her dog's leg was ripped from its socket. She's got a whole heap of vet bills the defendant refuses to pay for, and she's suing the irresponsible dog owner for the $5,000 she's owed. These are the defendants, Rebecca Nunez and Amparo Rodriguez. Rebecca says the plaintiff had a little 2 or 3-year-old girl walking her dog, and she led him over to her dog. Her dog felt invaded, and he defended himself. She got bitten in the process of separating them. The cops and paramedics came and said the little girl should never have been walking the plaintiff's dog in the first place. Why the plaintiff thinks any of this is her fault is crazy. They're accused of failing to control a crazed dog. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $5,000 for aggravation.
All parties, please raise your right hands. You had it right the first time.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you,
You're
Douglas.
welcome,
Shirley Wells
Yes.
and Raquel Wells. That's the baby?
Yeah.
Okay. How old is she?
22 months.
Okay, that's the youngest litigant I've had in my courtroom. Okay, the 22-month-old, let the record reflect that she's sucking on a milk bottle right now. Suing Rebecca Nunez and Amparo Rodriguez. Who's who? Rebecca?
Yes.
And Amparo for $5,000 in vet bills, pain and suffering, sending a dog to New York and to California, et cetera, because according to you, their dog bit your dog. What happened?
My sister and I, we had planned for me to come up and visit her with our grandchildren. My grandchildren could play with her grandchildren. And we were sitting out near her building, and the children were playing, and little Raquel wanted to hold the leash.
Raquel is whose grandchild?
Mine.
Okay.
Baby Raquel wanted to hold the leash.
Okay.
So I looked at her mother, and she said it's okay because she has done it often. She just holds the leash. She doesn't
She's
walk.
2. How big is the dog?
Little dog.
Little dog.
Little dog.
Do you have a picture of the dog?
Yes.
How much does the dog weigh?
18 to 20 pounds.
Yeah, like the same weight as Raquel.
Yeah.
Why are you
Raquel's much
guys
bigger than
giving
the
a
dog.
leash to a 2-year-old child?
Well, she was
does
just
it all the
standing
time.
there. She does it
She was
because-
holding. I'm standing.
She does it
with
all
her.
the time. Why are you doing it any of those times?
Because she likes to play. Well, she just likes to hold the leash.
The dog is a play dog. He plays with the kids.
He loves
Yeah,
the
but
children.
the dog might pull her arm out of her socket.
He did.
No, he sits down.
She did.
He's very well trained.
What happened?
So she's holding the leash, and we're all sitting there, and the older children were playing, and I saw Miss Nunez approaching. She was almost right near them, and I looked at her because these 2 dogs about
How
to meet.
far is the baby and the dog from you?
Right next to us, on the side near my sister.
So Raquel, little Raquel is right next to you.
Yes. And I didn't see Miss Nunez until she was upon us already. She didn't give me any warning, so I started getting up, and all of a sudden...
Getting up to do what?
To go get the dog, the leash from her. And all of a sudden, her dog ran over and grabbed him by the mouth.
You're up against the building.
We're near the side of the building.
You are, and that is how far from the sidewalk where she's walking her dog?
I would say 5 feet, yes.
Okay. And then her dog comes off the sidewalk over to where the baby and the dog are, or the two dogs do what dogs do and kind of meet in the middle?
They kind of met, yes.
Yeah. And then what?
And her dog grabbed my dog by the mouth and locked in. So I'm like, Miss, get your dog.
What kind of dog is this?
It's a Yorkie.
A Yorkie?
Yeah.
Yorkie?
Yeah, 8-pound dog.
Oh my gosh.
I have a picture, Your Honor. If you want to
and
see
do you have a picture of your dog?
Yes, but it's on the phone.
Right. Oh, for the love of God. It's an 8-pound Yorkie?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Yes.
Dressed as a bumblebee. Oh my goodness. I don't know which dog is smaller.
Mine was.
I'm not even sure. They're both so tiny, it's hard to
Maybe
tell.
15 pounds. He can't hurt her.
So then what
He may not
happens?
be 15.
Well, apparently we have a $5,000 lawsuit, so something happened, so go on.
Her dog grabbed him by the mouth, and now my dog is crying. And I know he's in pain because he's crying. So I said, Miss, get your dog. And suddenly, without any warning, she decided to jerk the chain in the air. When she jerked the chain in the air, my dog still attached by the mouth, and Raquel with the leash still just standing there. So I took the leash from her.
Now do we see why Raquel shouldn't have a dog in her hands? Why maybe a dog in her hands in a public area is not a great idea? Because dogs are dogs. They have dog behavior. They're going to be curious about another dog, and you never know what's going to happen. And she's still holding on.
Yeah, but the lady said to me, this is a mean dog. So I told my sister,
Who said this is a mean dog?
She did.
Did you ever say this is a mean dog?
Yes, she did.
Did you ever say this is a mean dog?
Yes.
No.
I'm not asking you.
Okay.
Did you ever say this is a mean dog?
No, what I said to her, Your Honor, was that he reacts when another dog's approaching.
Right.
Because what happened was I was approaching the black, and I saw the toddler holding the dog. When she saw me approaching, she let go of the dog, so the dog came running to her dog.
Okay, and how much distance did that dog run?
It was really close because I was really close to them.
Okay, so we're talking about seconds.
So yes.
All right, so the dog, according to you, comes to where you're walking the dog.
And they both started fighting.
Right.
Yes, so I was really scared. I got really nervous. It's the first time that I find myself in that situation. So I separated both dogs. I practically lifted them off the air and separated them. And when I did that...
And where's the little girl while that's happening?
She was standing right there.
Screaming, crying, or just shocked?
No, she was just shocked. She was just standing there.
Okay.
But, Your Honor, you're not going to have a toddler holding a dog. It could have been that the dog could have run to the street.
Exactly, with the toddler holding on to it and thinks, oh, I better not let go because she's got an 18-month-old mentality. Let the record reflect she's still sucking on the milk bottle.
And when I was trying to separate them, nobody came to help me. And that's when my friend's dog beat me. And when he beat me, I felt the impact of the bite, so I dropped him. That's when he went after him again. You know.
Were you bleeding?
Yes, I was bleeding pretty heavy. I didn't even notice, Your Honor, that I was bleeding because I was so nervous and so scared. And then she said, oh my gosh, she's bleeding. Let me call the paramedics. Because of course, you know that as soon as you call EMS or the paramedics, the cops are going to come right after that.
Okay.
While they were taking care of me in the ambulance, they went and talked to her. So when they came to get my...
Is there a police report?
I don't know if there was any police report. I never got a copy.
Let the record reflect that she dropped the milk bottle.
Dogs fight, you know, and her dog felt invaded because the other one came running towards him. And when I looked back, when I looked down, they were fighting, and I tried to separate them the first time. The second time, I'm beaten, and I'm still separating both dogs. None of them came to my rescue to help me separate them.
How come nobody else is trying to separate the dogs?
She picked up her dog. Her dog bit her and jumped back down. They weren't together.
They weren't together
and then locked into her dog
I had the leash by then. And I went and sat back down with my dog, and he went underneath my seat because he's in pain still. So I'm sitting there on the chair with my dog with the leash, and he attacks him a second time.
Well, the dog is being a dog. I mean, that's the problem. Now, when the dog bites you, the dog jumps out of your arms,
Yes.
and you don't have the dog by the leash anymore because you've just been wounded.
Of course.
And then your dog goes over to where she's sitting.
And the lady that was sitting on the chair, Your Honor, was her.
When the dog's under your chair, why aren't you guys trying to help?
The dog was under my chair, which I'm his master.
Well, just answer my question. Why aren't you guys trying to separate the dog?
We are, but I'm not going to touch her dog. I'm like, at this
so
point,
you are by doing what, like this?
I'm like, get your dog, because it's the second time he's coming. My feet go up in the air, and she's underneath me. I can't even touch the ground because she went up underneath them to try and get it. And I'm saying, Miss, get your dog, because mine is not a fighter.
All right, let me just try to understand your lawsuit and your amounts, okay? Do you have the vet bill?
Yes.
May I see it?
Thank you.
This just says previous balance 100, balance due 100.
160. I left $60 deposit.
You are suing for $5 grand. Show me how you're entitled to $5 grand from this event.
The
All the bills, the hospital bills.
This was for the little girl. She ended up with when she pulled the dog up, her elbow went out of socket and they had to put it back.
Her
in.
elbow went out of her socket?
Yes.
Do you see why it's a bad idea to have a 2-year-old hold a leash?
To me,
The dog didn't do it, Miss.
She did.
Miss Nunes
Yeah,
did it
because
when she
she's
pulled
trying
him up
along
in
to
the air.
separate two dogs because you two won't move.
I'm not going to touch her
that's
dog.
not
We
true.
did.
That's just fine. Is there an adult behind that table who understands how dangerous it is to put a little 18-month-old girl with a dog in her hands in a public place where there's other dogs passing by? Do you not get how
Sure.
wrong that was?
Sure.
No, because every time I tell you, you just keep saying, well, no, that's never happened. Oh, she does it all the time.
It
Like
never
you've learned
happened.
nothing.
No, it never happened.
Well, it happened this time, didn't it? I'm only more mad at you when I find out that she had to go to the hospital for this.
Oh, yeah, she had. We didn't know
That's
she was
awful.
hurt.
Is this it? You don't have any other bills but the $100 bill?
She didn't bring her bills.
Okay,
No,
well,
I did bring
today's
the
a
bill.
good day to bring them because today's the day I'm going to make a ruling on the
Yeah.
case that you brought to me.
Welcome back to the People's Court, Harvey Levin here. So, 22-month-old holding a leash. Is that complying with the leash law?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Why?
22 months? No, I don't think so.
Because?
Because she's an infant. She or he is an infant. You can't do that. That's against the law.
What do you think? Why not?
I don't know what the leash law is, but I don't think that any 22-month-old should be in control of a dog, period.
Are they in control at all, really?
No, a 22-month-old is not in control of a dog, and a 22-month-old should not be around when a dog is being attacked.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
You say it's 160, you can't prove it because you don't have anything that
It
says that.
says 60 and 100 left.
No, it doesn't. I'm going to hand back to you what I had. You're also suing for $25 for parking at the vet. Can you prove that you paid $25 to park at the vet?
It only says balance on.
Hello?
Oh, gosh, this is not the one.
I need an answer. Can you prove that you paid $25 for parking at the vet?
She's talking to you.
I know she is.
Okay.
No, she can't. She doesn't have
Your
it
Honor,
with her.
I was
Do
only...
you have any proof that you paid $25?
No.
Yes or no?
I had a receipt.
Do you have, but you don't have that either now. Do you have proof that you spent $10 on gas?
I had a receipt. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
didn't
Do you
bring
have
it.
proof that it's going to cost $215 for follow-up visits for the dog?
Well, emergency at...
Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you have proof for the figure that you're suing for?
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Do you have proof, amount to send the dog to California?
They said my dog would have arthritis in that leg. And I felt the winter's coming with the snow.
So you want them to pay to send the dog to California?
No,
to
I
who?
paid to send them. I sent them on the plane. I sent them.
Who'd you send the dog to? She's so bored. Let the record reflect that the plaintiff is so bored she has fallen dead asleep while we're talking. All right, who did you send the dog to in California?
To my youngest daughter.
Oh, this is hysterical. Okay, so then you want $490 to send the dog back to New York.
No, the rest was for...
And then $4,000 for pain and suffering.
No, the $4,000 is the baby.
Okay, and
they
now
amended
you
it
have a
together.
counterclaim for $5,000 for aggravation?
Your Honor.
For what?
I ended up in emergency room, and I was on antibiotics for a whole week, and I lost a whole day of work. But they claiming that happened to the little girl. If her arm was off the socket, the little girl would have been in so much pain. I mean, you know, she wasn't even crying, Your Honor, because I was there.
All right, folks, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why this happened. It's very simple. Why this happened is because somebody thought it would be a good idea to put the dog in the hands of an 18-month-old child, and that was nuts. It is the same as having an unleashed dog when you do that. And the law is that you have to be in control of the dog. So no, I am not going to hold them responsible for even the 100 that you're able to prove, much less the 5,000 that you're asking to ching, let the cash register ring for you here. Verdict for the defendant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counterclaim. What is a counterclaim? Forget it, right? Forget it. Zero on the counterclaim.
All right, so there's nothing on either side here. Some bad judgment on the plaintiff's side. You get nothing. What's your feeling on coming out of here this way?
Well, the child was never walking him. She was playing with him,
standing there holding
him
by us.
Are we going to let the child hold on to the dog anymore, or what are you going to do?
Well, no, we don't.
No?
She plays with the dog. Plays with the dog all the time.
All right. See you later. The youngest litigant ever at the People's Court. All right. Good job.
Okay.
All right. Head right there. Down this way. She did the best job of you all. All right. Come on in here. You satisfied how this comes out?
Of course.
Here, step up a little bit. And
Sure.
what happened here? Are you...
They claiming, they accusing me that because of the dog, that little girl. That's really a surprise. Her arm was so
lies there, so it was not fine. It was not right.
Two little dogs fighting. I mean, how hard are you going to pull the leash that your arm is going to fall off?
How's your injury?
Oh, it's fine. It's just I have to. It's so much better
there's
now.
A scar there. There's
yeah, it's permanent, but it's okay.
You did your best, right?
I did.
Harvey?
Pretty simple. The leash law says that the person holding the leash has to have control of the animal, and a 22-month-old doesn't have that ability. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. The Four Seasons is back for season 2, starring Tina Fey, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, Marco Calvani, Carrie Kenny Silver, and Erica Henningsen. After a difficult year, your favorite group of friends continues their tradition of vacationing together, now with a baby in tow. From the Jersey Shore to upstate New York and Italy, their getaways are sure to take unexpected turns where comedy ensues. Watch The Four Seasons May 28th, only on Netflix.
This is the plaintiff, Rochelle Grossman. She says she and the defendant have been good friends since college, and they decided to get an apartment together. Big mistake. Huge. Turns out the cat was impossible to live with. They only lasted 2 short months, and now he owes her all sorts of money for furniture they purchased, and she has no other choice but to sue him here and now for the $713.98 she's owed. This is the defendant, Robert Powell. He says all the problems began when the plaintiff wanted to move her boyfriend into the apartment. They ended up having a big blowout. She moved out, and he wasn't able to find anyone else to share the apartment with. If anyone's owed money, it's him. He's accused of not getting along. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $632.22 for electric bills and loss of furniture.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Ms. Grossman.
Yes.
You are suing Mr. Powell, your former roommate and good friend from college, for the value of half of the furniture that you bought together for an apartment where things didn't work out between the two of you.
That's correct.
What happened?
The two of us decided to move into an apartment together, along with my boyfriend. And we moved in April of 2011, and the apartment was unfurnished. So we went to IKEA, we bought some furniture, we agreed to split the cost down the middle and share this furniture that would...
Why?
Why did we split it? Probably because we were naive.
Okay, hold on. You guys met where?
We met in college at Columbia.
Ooh, college kids. At where?
Columbia.
No, not just college kids. Columbia college kids. Are you talking about Columbia, New York City?
Yes.
Wow. All right. Wouldn't it have been, in certainly retrospect, but I don't know why it wouldn't occur to two smart cookies like you that it might be a better idea if each of you buys certain pieces so that you can each just take your own pieces. Wouldn't that have, and then just equal it out so that it's about roughly the same amount?
I think, obviously, in retrospect, that makes a ton of sense.
So you don't even have a plan. You don't discuss where it's going to be the depreciated value, the cost of it originally, who's going to buy who out. So there's all these surprises coming up. All right. Now, you lived there until you move in what date?
In April.
And by November, you had moved out.
Yes.
And why did you move out in November?
So I wasn't living in the apartment in the summer months because I moved back with my parents.
Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot that part. Let's just complicate everything just a little bit more. Right. So in the summer, you went back to where? Buffalo?
Yes.
Okay. So you go back to Buffalo. My husband's from Buffalo. Okay. You go back to Buffalo in the summer, which is really the only time you can be in Buffalo. And then somebody moves in who we thought was going to pay rent, but then we work something out with her. So she, instead of paying rent, buys furniture. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah. So now there's all this furniture this woman bought, which amounted to what, 600 and...
In the letter that the defendant sent to me, it says that the total price of the furniture purchased by the co-leasers, which would be us on that visit to IKEA, was $562.
Right.
And in the next sentence, it says the jointly owned furniture that was purchased by Hannah amounts to $865.95. And the amount that I'm suing the defendant for is the exact amount
that's in his letter.
That he put in his letter.
Right. All right. So go on.
Well, I moved back into the apartment at the end of the summer in August, and I had heard that the defendant was difficult to live with. But we were friends, and I thought that we would get along. But it turns out that he is difficult to live with.
Why?
For several reasons. One of them, I guess, would be about cleanliness, that the defendant has an extremely high, impossibly high, I would say, standard of cleanliness in the apartment, that I wasn't really allowed to leave anything in the living room. If there were crumbs on the table, it was very bad. If I couldn't leave my dishes out in the kitchen for more than, oh my goodness, not for very long, or else I would be in big trouble. And this was one thing that was pretty weird and made me very uncomfortable.
It's weird that somebody expects you to wash your own dishes before you walk out of the kitchen? Or pick up your crumbs? I don't know, honey.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, it didn't work well with you. Okay.
So that was one reason. Another issue was privacy, that the defendant would go into my room when I was not around. And
to do what? Or you just felt that way?
I found that some of my things would be put into my room when I was not there. So if I
that's the stuff you left lying around again?
Well, if I had a backpack on the...
It's like you're me and she's my children. All right, so it just felt creepy.
Also, I was living with my boyfriend, and so that again was another issue of privacy, that whenever the defendant was in the apartment, he would come to my door and knock on it to say, hello, just so you know, I'm here.
Well,
and so I guess it's important for respect.
Yeah, most people would like that.
Sure.
All right. So far, everything you've said are reasons you don't want to live there, and that's fine, but they're not valid reasons for breaking a roommate agreement. So, and I think you know that because you realized when you left that you weren't going to be able to get out of the lease. The landlord said, look, you're still on the hook for paying the rent here. So get somebody to live there, and hopefully everything will work out. You did get somebody to live in your room, but there's a third room available that you guys would rent out. Okay, when you left, that other person in the third room left, right? Okay, when you left, what you said was, I will find somebody for my room and I will help to find somebody for the joint room, correct?
Correct.
Did she get somebody for her room?
She did.
All right, and that was somebody who was acceptable to you?
Yeah, it was perfectly fine.
However, according to you, the third room wasn't rented out until a month later, correct? And that third room was going for what, $8-something?
$850.
So a half of that is what you are claiming against her, which is $425.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
I am responsible for finding somebody to rent the space, and I did find somebody, and she was ready to move in.
You mean to the third
To
room?
the third space.
Okay. Did she find somebody who you did not approve of, or?
No, she found somebody who was perfectly acceptable. We got along very well, but unfortunately, maybe 3 to 5 days before she was expected to move in, she had a family emergency and moved back to Long Island. Her mom was really sick.
So who paid that rent on that month
For December?
Yeah.
I paid the full amount.
Okay, so you were out the 800 something, and then did you ever say to her then, hey, you owe me 425?
I sent her a text message, which unfortunately I don't have on my phone anymore.
Right, and said what?
I said, let's see, Sam, the name of the girl, has decided not to sublet here due to an unforeseen family problem. This means that you most likely have to pay $425 for this month, half of the small room.
Right, and did she respond to it?
She did not respond to the text, nor did she pay for it.
Are some roommates too obsessive when it comes to cleanliness?
Yes.
How so?
Well,
should a roommate have to tolerate a little bit of sloppiness?
well, yeah, enough so they're not being hypocritical. So you don't want to say, oh, you have to do the dishes all the time and then themselves leave something in the sink.
But what if they're obsessive? Do you have to become obsessive too?
No, you shouldn't have to change who you are just because you live with someone. They should, your personality should work in together.
I like the way you think. Going inside the courtroom.
All right, let's move on a second. And so the year is up. And a month before the year is up, you send him an email or a text and you say to him, okay, it's time to start thinking about how, because you're expecting that you're going to get some money. Right.
Yes, I sent him a letter, and I detailed what I thought was the shared furniture, and I looked up the prices based on the current prices that they're listed online.
Okay, stop one second. How much did you ask for in your letter?
In the letter, I'm asking for $880.
Okay. Why did you research furniture and get the current prices at that time?
Because I didn't have the receipts.
Okay, that's the answer to my question.
Okay.
All right. That's certainly not going to be the measure of damages, ever, because what happens is that you get the depreciated value at the time that you split up the furniture. But then you get, tell me about the letter he writes to you.
Oh, he writes me a 3-page letter detailing the reasons why he will not pay me anything.
Okay, and why don't I let you tell us about that? You feel that she can have a couch or nothing. You say to her, Rachel Grossman, even though the letter's to her, Rachel T. Grossman may take the Ektorp love seat with this Vambi, these are all the IKEA things, gray slipcover, which has a retail value greater than the $288 I decide that you're owed. And should she decline the offer, Robert Powell will have no obligation to compensate her in any other form. You don't think that this is the kind of thing that would make somebody say, hi ho, it's off to court we go.
I was ready for a negotiation of sorts.
Yeah, but this isn't a negotiation. This isn't an opening of a negotiation. Opening of a negotiation is picking up a phone, saying, Rachel, let's try to hammer this out. All right? That's a negotiation. What you did was a hijacking. What you did was an extortion note. You really look like a jerk. Now, having said that, let's discuss. The total amount of the furniture that was spent was how much?
So purchased on April 30th is $562.
$562.
And then by Hannah in May was $865.95.
Okay. So a total of $1,427.95 in furniture, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, there's electrical bills owed from October to November when she moves out, and you have calculated those come after you move out, and then those are $77.22, correct? Did you pay any electric bills after you moved out, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. How much did you pay?
I paid $25.
$25. Do you acknowledge that she paid $25?
If she says that she paid it, I believe her.
Okay, fine. So the $77.22, you have no objection to reducing by that amount. Now, I don't understand the part of your lawsuit that asks for $130 for loss of use of the furniture, a bed, and desk.
When I calculated how much I should give Rochelle for the half of the furniture, I deducted these items here.
Why did you deduct them?
Because Rochelle and the other girl who had lived there at the time took them with them when they moved out.
How much did she take?
It's $1,153.95
minus
$865.95. That's how much I took off.
So you valued the items she took at $288.
Right.
Okay. All right. Here's how we're going to do this. You college kids make my brain hurt. Okay, but I've got it now. I think I've got it. You guys end up moving in together, and you buy some furniture, and each of you put in half of it. That's the first purchase. It's the IKEA purchase, right?
Correct.
And it's $562 total, right? So if we divide that in two, that's $281, right? Somebody stop me if you think I'm wrong. Then the summer resident buys $1,153.95 worth of furniture. If we divide that in half, we have $576.97 on each side of the ledger. Here's a plaintiff, here's a defendant. right? Don't just say right. I mean,
Right.
you know, okay. I mean, say right if I'm right. All right. So we have a total on each side is $857 worth of furniture at the moment of its purchase. Right?
Right.
Now we have a year passing, so we have depreciation. I am going to depreciate this furniture at a very generous rate, I think, to you, of allowing it to keep 60% of its value. Because remember, what it means is what can you get in a flea market? All right? So if I take 60% of this amount, then what I am left with is $514 on each side. Right?
Right.
Okay. Now, you owe him some money, though, right? First, you owe him the electric bills minus the $25 that he'll acknowledge that you paid. So you owe $52.22. Then, because of the reasons that we've already discussed, you owe December. So minus, it's not looking good right now, is it? Right?
Right.
Oh, we're not done yet. Okay, hold on. So now you owe December. This is the electric bills. This is December. And then there's a matter of that furniture that you took. Because when you took that furniture, you took his half of that furniture. That furniture was worth $288. His share of that is $144. So if I take 60% of that, then you also owe him $86.40, which means you in the negative. You should have taken the couch he offered. I know his letter was really jerky, but it ends up you have a counterclaim against her for all that stuff, and then it ends up that you're in the hole for $48.84 on this math. Let me tell you guys something. The much better way, of course, to have done this is for each of you to have bought a piece of furniture and then everybody just leaves with their own stuff. And you have all that in writing, so there's no dispute later when you're trying to move out about who actually owned what. You would have ended up with $514.78 if it weren't just the fact that you owe all this other stuff. You ended up owing electricity, owing December, and owing the $86.40 for the furniture you did take. So I find a net judgment on your counterclaim in your favor of $48.84. Good luck, folks.
Well, let's find out how the plaintiff feels about how this math came out.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I feel like I had some strong evidence, but she wasn't really interested in hearing all of the things I had to say for my case.
She worked like mad to come up with the right numbers for you there. It just happened to turn out against you, that's all.
I guess so.
Well, how did your friendship come to this? You guys were good friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, he was impossible to live with. He's a really unpleasant, mean person. If you read the letter
You didn't know anything about that beforehand, before you moved in with him?
I thought it was just some quirks, and overall he seemed nice, but I was wrong.
All right, right around the corner this way, okay? And let's see what's your feeling on the outcome here?
I'm just glad that it's over, and I need to get back to work now.
Are you a clean freak and a nasty guy and all those things she says about you?
I am a clean freak, but I cook for the people I live with. I decorate the space. I always thought that it was nice to live with me.
Okay, Harvey?
You know, if you're at war with a roommate, and it's happened to everybody, the best thing to do is just sit down and say, look, it's not working out. Let's figure out some solution here, which means move. No, figure out some way of who moves, who stays, and where the money goes. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
The road to the NBA Finals ends here, with star guard setting the tone. The Cavs eye another upset, while the Knicks carry the dreams of all of New York. The Eastern Conference Finals continue on ESPN and ABC.
This is the plaintiff, Amanda Arva. She says she parked her car in the defendant's parking lot near the beach. And when she returned an hour and a half later, her windshield was cracked. When she complained to the defendant, he curtly told her it wasn't his problem, and then he called the cops. She's very upset by this whole incident, just wants the car fixed, and is suing for the $424.67 she's owed. This is the defendant, Charles Eister. He says he has no idea what happened to the plaintiff's windshield. This is the kind of lot where you park your own car and take your keys with you. The girl chose to park her car right near the heavily traveled sidewalk boardwalk, and anyone could have damaged her car. He isn't responsible for every Tom, Dick, or Harry that walks by and owes the plaintiff nothing. He's accused of cracking up a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Amanda Arva, you are suing Charles Eister and Magnolia Bike Rentals and Parking. You are the owner of a parking lot
Yes, ma'am.
that you parked at, and you're suing him for the cost of a new windshield because apparently it was broken on his lot. Tell me what happened.
Okay. We went down to Wild with my boyfriend and I back in August. I parked in the lot owned by him. We parked there because it was attended. There was someone there and thought it was safer than just parking anywhere on the street. We got, I guess, receipt, if you want to call it that. I have a picture and I have the actual paper that we got.
Let me see what you've got. Hand it to Douglas, please. How much did they charge you?
$5.
Okay.
We parked at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon, came back approximately 5:30, and when we came back, the windshield was smashed. I do have pictures of the windshield.
Yeah, let me see.
There's also pictures of where it was parked on the lot. I asked the attendant what happened, if he saw anything. The alarm went off. He stated he had no idea.
So your windshield it's not gone, it's there and cracked.
Correct.
Do these lines originate from one spot?
Exactly.
Okay. So something fell on your car?
Or someone.
Well, someone would be able to do
I mean,
it.
they could have fell with their arm or something happened. Something fell on it.
There was some impact that caused the crack.
Yeah, it actually says that on, I have a copy of the police report where it says that there was physical force to the car.
So let me see the police report. So what happens? You talk to the attendant and you say, did the alarm go off? He says no.
He didn't hear anything.
Right.
I said, well, who's responsible? And the attendant went and got the owner.
That's you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
He didn't know anything. He obviously wasn't there. So he said that it wasn't his problem. He went ahead and called the police. The police came, wrote the police report. I do also have a picture of the little booth that doesn't say anything about me being responsible if I leave my car.
Okay. Mr. Eister, let me hear from you.
Well, Your Honor, I want to first submit a complete ticket. The top portion that I believe Ms. Arva gave to you is placed in the car so that we know that they paid. The bottom portion is then given to them. It has the address, and it has a disclaimer stated on there.
But you hand this whole ticket to her?
No, it's torn in half.
So she's just chosen not to give me the other part that has a disclaimer, I guess.
No, I can't answer that.
Extended parking. Your car's accepted only upon the condition that we're not responsible for the car, contents, or accessories. Attendant usually on duty till midnight, no overnight parking. So how did you not get this?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you did, and you're just not giving it to me.
So you know those little forms you get? We're not responsible. If you get your car damaged, can you sue them, or are they completely off the hook?
Actually, I don't. Yeah.
You're not going to answer this, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Who hasn't spoken? What do you think?
I believe it is the driver's responsibility because they chose to park there, and
the little ticket gets the parking lot off the hook.
I think it does. Yeah.
Fair enough. We will find out going inside the courtroom.
What do you think happened?
I have 3 ideas, Your Honor. I teach science, and I like to ask questions. I had time sitting on my lot when the season's over, but about 2 weeks afterwards, well, let me start off. I checked the temperature with NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And the highest temperature that day was 81. I don't recall if the windows were closed or not. I don't remember looking at that, but I doubt if that was a factor. But I did look at where Miss Arva came from, Franklin Lake. I would probably bet she came down the parkway, and there's a lot of construction going on there. If there's a pre-existing crack on the windshield.
Like you can have a rock hit it, and then it can be much later that all of a sudden it goes.
It doesn't even have to be a crack. It could be just a chip that starts. Not to be funny, but 2 weeks later, I was sitting on the lot, and I saw this seagull fly up. I was feeding popcorn. And it was kind of funny because he landed with about a 4.5-inch mussel clamped onto his leg.
Clamped onto his leg?
Yeah, apparently he must have stepped on it. I can only conjecture that he stepped on it and it clamped shut. And then I said, oh my gosh, that car with the broken windshield. Perhaps that's what happened.
What'd you do to help the poor seagull?
I did try to run after it, but he
Right.
still was healthy enough.
It flew away.
But,
What a
I mean,
shame.
I've seen seagulls pick up clams and mussels, and they drop them to crack them.
Right.
And, I have other pictures of seagulls doing that.
Oh, let me see. Where'd you get those, off the internet?
Off the internet, yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
How far are you from the beach?
Less than 450 feet, ma'am, which is the third possibility. She was at an end spot, and you can see on this map, or this picture, she's on an end spot, and if I recall right, she headed into the parking space against the fence. Can I get a confirmation of that? Or did you back in?
Did you
Not
back
really.
in or front in?
We went into the front and then
Okay.
we pulled in.
And
Yeah.
she's on that last spot, and that's probably about 6 feet from the end of my property line. Now, I'm 450 feet from the beach and probably 400 feet from the boardwalk. So during the period of 1:30 to about 5:30 in the afternoon, I would imagine hundreds of people may have gone by on the sidewalk, coming and going from the beach and so forth. Prizes on the boardwalk include, all kinds of things that could be thrown, tossed, or dropped.
I'm liking this theory.
Well, we didn't see anything around the car, Your Honor. That's the first thing I looked for, an object that could have cracked it.
When
And-
she alerted you to it?
Yeah.
Well, that's because the seagull's not stupid. What they're doing is they have it in their mouth and they drop it in order for it to hit the ground, open up, and then they go down and they eat before another seagull comes and gets it. I guess they would leave the shell, and that's what you're looking for, and you didn't see it.
In the more remote areas, you can see roads that are just covered with shells where they do
Yeah.
that. And obviously, they don't want to do it in a crowded area.
I don't know that we're ever going to solve this mystery. The question is, do you give your customers, do you go like this, put that there, and give your customer this? And he is saying this is what they do, and this is what makes sense, because he wants to inform you of all this stuff, and this is the disclaimer. And I happen to think that it would be a better idea to also put a sign on the hut, like she's saying, but it's not a requirement. If they're handing you this, and I do believe with every fiber of my being that they did, then that's it, case over. Even if there weren't this disclaimer, I don't know how you could prove that it's something they negligently did or didn't do. So I find in favor of the defendant in this case. Good luck.
So the defendant wins this case in the People's Court. Step right in here next to me. Tell me what's your first thought coming out here?
My first
after
thought
that?
coming out is seriously a seagull. That's
Well,
I mean, a seagull
Straight-
dropping a shell. If you saw the crack across the windshield, you would know that it wasn't
It's
a
just
shell.
a theory, but stranger things have happened. You understand that disclaimer on the ticket rules?
I didn't have the disclaimer, and why would they rip apart a ticket and give me two? And they didn't even give me a chance to say that.
All right, you look like you're on your way out. Okay, I won't stop you. So I assume the attendant who collected the money didn't say anything?
He was about 75 feet away, and I'm sure he would have heard something if it impacted. If it cracked, it could have been very quietly. I have no idea.
How long did you spend in the laboratory concocting your defense here?
Actually, not that long. I mean, I teach physics and chemistry, so it wasn't that hard to...
So there's a scientific explanation for...
It's a possibility. I didn't give any probabilities. I gave theories.
No probabilities, just theories. Harvey?
I got to tell you, these tickets are absolutely positively legal and binding. So if the key here is, if you have anything really expensive in your car where it could get stolen if somebody breaks in or whatever, should think twice before you park in one of these lots, because the lot is not going to be responsible. Doesn't matter what the deal is. If you have a ticket like that, you probably are out of luck.